they're his cousins, and then they're other cousins, and then they're just going at it, and then like you would think this like little kid would like be able to take on or would get his ass kicked, but in the beginning he was fucking whooping all their asses, and eventually they all fucking tag team him and like beat the shit out of him.
Spoiler alert.
Well, yeah, they don't know what show I'm talking about.
Hey, you know, anybody still likes a good, you know, good little squabble. You know?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, beat his ass.
Shit, I remember I tweeted that. I'm like, I always love seeing a good squabble on the timeline.
Me too. Bro, and whether it's like an actual video of people like squabbling or just like words, like people going back and forth, I get so invested. I'm like following the threads.
I saw a great video the other day on Twitter.
What?
It's this hooker. She's putting her phone down. Looks like she's about to do a TikTok. Sets it down. Fucking runs up to the other bitch that I guess was talking shit, and then just starts fucking her up. I was like, oh my god, this is great.
That's so fucking funny. Well, what a way to like start this is just us talking about fucking squabbles and kid-on-kid violence.
That shit just reminds me, because we were talking about Snowfall, and I will always remember that last. Fuck it. You know what?
Don't spoil it. It's okay.
You're gonna eventually watch this.
Season 1, episode 3.
No.
You
This
know
is
what that
like,
one means, right?
Yeah. No. What I'm talking about is the one where Jerome beats the shit out of that one dude, and then at the end of it,
Teach your man how to squabble.
teach your man how to squabble.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that.
Dude, there's so many fight scenes with him though, so it's not really like, you know, spoiling anything.
Bro, I fucking love a good fight scene. Like in shows, movies, TV shows. I can appreciate a really good fight scene.
Especially when it's like credible, like it's realistic. It's not like it's not like fucking
like,
Bruce Lee type shit, you know?
Oh yeah, when it's like overly produced.
Yeah, it's like, this is terrible.
It's like, you know, it's just or like one of those like CGI ones. Although actually no, because some CGI ones can be done really well, but it's just there's just a certain way to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, guys, welcome back. I have another guest here with me, Eddie.
Wait, am I the first guy to ever be on this show?
Yeah, huh? Oh, no, Danny.
No, Danny.
Oh, you're right. Oh, fuck,
Danny was my first
episode.
person.
Danny's a princess, so I love him.
Yeah, very feminine guy.
Queen. I feel like you take either king or queen, or both.
Depends how he's trying to be treated that day, I think.
This is very true. I think, did you see his recent video he posted where he's like, my summer? And it's just him shaking his ass all throughout the summer. I fucking loved it. I was like, yes, bitch.
God. I love that. Seeing him fucked up and throwing ass is, that's a national pastime right there.
It is. It's such a great time. It's just like, dude, you can't help but feel more hyped up when you're watching Danny just get fucked up, like twerking and shit.
Like, you see that, you know it's going to be a great night.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best.
Yes, well, thank you for joining me here.
Oh, of course.
I know I had Bree first, now I have you.
This is true. You know, I'm not hurt or anything, you know, but okay.
But to be fair, I've known her longer.
This is true. That's why I'm not hurt.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, this is Eddie. He is a producer, DJ, graphic designer,
and overall sick-ass fool.
Yeah, overall sick-ass fool.
This is true. I'm like a fucking
Modelo connoisseur.
I'm a walking Swiss Army knife.
Mm-hmm. Also a Modelo connoisseur.
I gotta lay off those for a bit.
Really?
Dude, I'm not trying to get a fucking beer belly.
This is true. I feel that.
Shit, even yesterday, last night, all I had was fucking tequila pineapples.
Really?
Yeah.
How was last night?
Fucking hot, sweaty, fun. Lots of ass was thrown by Ivor.
Of course. For reference, guys, he went to group chats, little shindig that they throw like once a month. I think I'm gonna go back next month.
You should.
Yeah, well, also because it's Eric's birthday once it hits midnight.
Is that when they're doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, actually, you know what? Fucking...
Because it's usually like what, like on a Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's when they're gonna do it. I don't know if I'm supposed to stay or not, but
yeah,
it's okay.
Ivor mentioned it to me, so...
Yeah, so I'll be there. And then, I don't know if you saw, but Molest, like her, they approved it. So her and Ivor are gonna be officially moving back.
But the area.
I know, I saw. So Molest said that if anyone has any leads for the San Fernando Valley, NoHo area, hit her line. And I told her if I know anything, I'll let her know too. Because I would love for them to move out here. We could be neighbors.
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Well, because also I know Jim's out here too. I literally see him all the time when I'm working. Like, even when I'm leaving work, it's so funny because there'll be a lot of times where I just see him, but he's like across, and I know this sounds so creepy. It's just like, I'm walking, going home, or I'm walking to like the Starbucks down the street, and then I'll look across the street. I'm like, oh, look, there's Jim and he's walking his dog, and I'm like, I had too far to say hi.
No, he's so easy to spot though.
With his tall ass, yes, he's a totem.
That dude's gotten a lot more muscular too. I saw him last night.
That
You know,
fool's buff.
arms were out. I was like, God damn.
And that fool loves to wear like the little cut up tees, or like not tees. Well, yeah, they're technically tees. He
like
just cuts them up.
Yeah.
Little cut off shirts. And I'm like, damn, that fool's fucking buff.
That motherfucker from Guile from Street Fighter.
Yeah, and I saw Bobby was there, and Flossodramus and Henry Fong.
Hey, I got to talk to Henry for a bit. Finally, like, introduce myself to him. That was nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I saw
he's cool
Sick Ass
shit.
Fool. Marty was there.
Yeah, he had his back-to-back with the homie Don Dirty. That was amazing. Then they played this flip that me and Marty have. That's more for people that don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know if you know the fucking. You've heard the song,
Yeah.
but Aldo over here. You remember this song called Puta Madre by Showtek?
Fuck yeah, dude. That's a classic.
So we flipped that into like some like huaracha shit, and then had a nice little hardstyle break into it.
It's really nice. I love it.
Yeah, so we got to play that last night. Fucking went off. I've never seen a fucking crowd go so crazy over like one of our songs. I was like, God damn.
That's always so exciting.
It is. Yeah, it was so nice to be up there too, because I did not want to be in that crowd because it gets.
That is the
fucking hot in
thing
there.
with, well, even, it's not even just like their events. It's just like that, like
space.
that venue, that space. Because for those who don't know, Academy has a little space like upstairs. And technically, like, you can have a whole setup. I mean, they do it every Thursday. Well, not every Thursday, but Thursday
weeks.
every month. And the thing is, like, when that space gets full, it gets so ridiculously hot. Like, it's like so humid and gross, but it's a fun time. I will say, it's a fun time.
It sucks because there's only one way in and one way out. So
I know.
even if you're a DJ, you gotta walk through the crowd just to get out of there, or even just go use the fucking restroom. It's yeah.
But that's also why they kind of like that it's in there too, because they want that intimate feel. Because when Gesture started out, he used to throw those like parties, or he used to also like DJ at those type of parties that were like very intimate. It's very like old school. We're like
Plugged in LA, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, that's like one of the,
so long ago.
that's one of the first, or not the first show. The first show I saw him, first time I saw him was like what? At Valentino Con. Yeah, like he opened for Valentino Con when he played at Belasco.
Oh, okay.
And then we also saw him at the Upside Down House, or IEDC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was that was the Valentino when he had that run back in 2017. He played at that one club in SB, and then he went to Belasco, and then he played in San Diego. And he opened, and then it was G Buck, and then Valentino. Yeah, so just to, you could imagine how lit that fucking night was.
G Buck's another fucking killer. That dude's like he needs more spotlight on him. It's crazy.
Bro, you know what lineup I'm really sad never happened?
I already know what you're gonna say.
Was the original
Palladium?
the original lineup that was going to be at the Palladium for Gesture, because Males was going to do a back-to-back with Vanessa? No, Vanessa Michaels? Is that her name?
Yes.
Right? I think they were going to do a back-to-back, and it was a pretty nice lineup. I forget who else was on it, but
I think they had the Gasolina party.
yeah, before
Yeah, back
shit
when.
happened.
Yeah, back when other people we know were affiliated on
Yeah.
there.
But that would have been a really cool line. I still enjoyed myself from what I remember at the Palladium show that happened this year. It was this year, huh? That feels like so long ago,
Yeah,
but it was
like-
in April.
Yeah, Jesus. God, I went to a lot of shows this year.
It's in
I tried not
March.
to.
I know, that's really funny. I feel like you've even gone out more than I have.
Yeah.
But it's different for you because you have, well, one, like you started dating Brie and she likes to go out too. And then you guys have like very similar interests when it comes to like things, and then you put her on, she puts you on. But then also because like, you know, you want to go support the homies and stuff.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So funny. I was talking about Nancy about that yesterday because she finally came to the realization. She's like, you know, I think I've accepted that I do know a lot of people. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, you know. She's like, yeah, mostly yesterday I was just saying hi to a bunch of people. I'm like, yeah, because I've calmed down and now I don't really talk to people like that. I don't know people like that. But before, I feel like whenever I would go out, I would always be saying hi to someone. And your favorite thing is that whenever you hang out with me, it's like a meet and greet. Not anymore. I've calmed down a lot. I feel like even you and Bria go out more than I do.
Yeah, we do. Shit. Now it's become more of a meet and greet with me.
Yeah.
And it's just because I have a lot of, I guess you could say, I wouldn't even say like all like just like homies, but also a lot of peers, you know, people doing the same shit.
Known acquaintances.
Acquaintances, you know.
Yeah.
Just a lot of DJs that just fucking know each other because it's such a small scene, really, especially in LA. But yeah, I really want to slow down. Like, I think till the fucking New Year, damn near, I really do not want to hit that many fucking things. Aside from like probably the group chat parties, just to you know, support the homies.
Yeah, let's get into that. How, for the most part, I feel like besides the stuff that you actually wanted to go to, though, you went to a lot of things that were very much in the scene, like supporting and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't know that you've been in this scene for a very long time. Like, you were there at the beginning of when Moomathon was, like, being born, and you were so close to those that really brought it up, such as, like, Dave Nada. Like, I even got to meet Dave Nada because of you, which was really nice, and I, like, had my little fangirl moment. But I feel like you should speak on that more, what it was like kind of watching all of that kind of come up.
Oh, man, yeah, like, it all started, like, I always say, like, 2010, I always say 2010 is probably one of the biggest years for EDM, because that's when so many people really got interested in it. And I think a big part of it, too, was EDM was being shown a lot more on TV, and, like, EDM-related things, like, you had, like, Jersey Shore at the time, too. They were playing so much EDM.
They're like, we love house music.
And then DJ Blend kind of became a thing. Shuffling became a thing in LA. So, like, a lot of people were listening to, like, Dirty Dutch and stuff like that. And that's when a lot of people, like, including myself, started getting interested into what these events actually are. You know, like, we've heard of raves, but, like, what actually is it? So that's when me and my cousin Ernie, the other half of Murda Weapon.
Oh, yeah, I'm such a bad host. I haven't even mentioned that, like, you guys are one. He is part of Murda Weapon. He is one half of Murda Weapon. Ernie is the other half, and we love him too, but...
Yeah, but it's so funny, like, even before I got into, I guess, like, the scene, like, because of Ernie, I was listening to stuff like Justice. Not even knowing really it was, like, electronic music. I thought it was just, like, some crazy-ass beats. But that's how me and him both got into it. And then from there, we just kind of gravitated into different things, different sounds. And a couple years later... No, actually, after the first rave we went to, we were like, yeah, we gotta start, like, making this shit. Because Ernie was already doing hip-hop at the time. I kind of wanted to dabble into it, too. And... that's when we really just started making, like, electro house, because that was, like, the poppin' thing too, Dirty Dutch. Then it wasn't until, like, a couple years later, while I was still in high school, I started making Moomatone, because it was, like, the cool, like, sounding thing that just really gravitated towards me, because me and Ernie are, like, very close to, like, we like to say our culture musically.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
When we finally heard something that, like, felt close to us, because there wasn't that much representation at the time, like, Dioro was still barely on the come up.
Yeah.
And, like, I still remember his early career. So to hear some sort of representation for us was big, and we just wanted to be part of it. So, and I always tell Dave Nada, like, I always tell him thank you, because for him being the reason that, like, I have so many, like, dope ass people in my life, so many homies, because of Moomatone. Like, I can never fucking repay him for that shit.
And I get that too, because even though, like, I've slowed down a lot, like, I don't really go to raves like that as much anymore, even the smaller shows, I've calmed down a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It was so funny, because I was talking about that with Perla recently. She was just like, yeah, for a while I wasn't sure if you were going to stop. And I'm like, yeah, me too. But I always credit that if it wasn't for me doing that and getting into the scene as much as I did, I wouldn't have met a lot of the people that I know that I have in my life right now. Like, most of the people that I'm closest to, even Bree and Nessa, like, I met them technically through Twitter, through like EDM Twitter.
Yeah.
And even Aldo, like, we bonded more too once we started raving together and like going through all that stuff. And it's all the people that are closest to me. Like, I wouldn't have that if it wasn't for that. So I understand, like, wanting, like, having a certain part of you that's like always gonna be very grateful for that. And I feel like Dave's also like a really dope.
He's so nice.
He's so fucking nice, dude. Even when I met him, like, and I knew he was gonna be nice because you always talk about how nice he is. But like, being around him, like, he is such a very nice, like, calming, good energy.
Yeah, there's certain people that come into your life that, you know, as soon as they just come around, just like, you could have a shitty fucking day, but as soon as they come around, it just makes your day completely better. He's one of them. Mm-hmm. So I love him for that. He's always the life of the party.
He really is, dude. He just be vibing there too. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember when I first got put on to Dave Nana and like Spider Tech, like early stuff, like even just Mumathon in general. It's the same feeling where you just find something that's like very close to our culture, and it's the closest thing you can find. And I feel like people are starting to get back on that wave too. Because even just like with anything in general, there's always different trends, and there's always things that are going to, you know, come back around, recycle itself, but in like different waves. And I feel like the one person who's also like kind of, you see that as an example is Ray, like Ray Burger. Yeah. Like, whenever I watch his TikToks or I read the comments of like his Instagram posts and stuff, you see people like, oh my God, like, I never thought I'd find like Latin EDM or like Latino type of or Latin music in EDM. And it's like, I love EDM and I love Latin music, and it's so nice seeing like a combination of both. And obviously that's been there. It's just like, you know, some people just have never been put on like that. Yeah. Like, for example, like Mumathon or like even Dylan Francis, when he started pushing it too. Not that many people knew about it, and then all of a sudden it kind of blew up. And I feel like Ray Burger's a really good example of that kind of coming back around in its own way.
Yeah, and then especially right now too, because there's the whole like Latin tech house movement.
Yeah.
And I think right now just a lot of people are really looking for representation in general. I mean, that's why I think someone like Bad Bunny is so fucking big, is because people could relate to his come up. You know, like, he wasn't fucking rich, you know, at all. Yeah. Like, not even close to it. You know, and then he's just talking about fucking just trying to have a fucking good time. He's talking about sad shit. He's fucking talking about love. You know, he's talking about everything. And he looks like the people that he's playing to. You know?
And one of my favorite things about him is he always says, like, and I've gone, like, the 2 concerts I've gone to by him, and even, like, interviews I've seen and all that stuff, every time he always says, like, when I make music, I literally only make music for Puerto Rico. That's who I'm making music for. And he says how much it means to him that music that he plays for the people that he loves and for his country resonates with everybody. It resonates with so many fucking people. Like, I remember the interview he did for not Ultimo Tour. He did it for Un Verano Sin Ti. He was talking about how the first time he went to Italy, he was so shook that people in fucking Italy who don't even speak Spanish are singing his songs back to him. And I feel like that's such a odd but surreal feeling. Yeah. And it's the same thing like in like the EDM community. When I first found Mumathon, it was such a nice like connection to that.
Yeah, it's funny. Right now it seems like everybody wants to be Latino.
I know. Pero le falta sazón.
Shit, look at fucking Clooney in his shirt.
I know, that shit was fucking crazy. I was just like,
people ate that shit up. At the same time, I'm like, bro, like, the context of it's not what you think it means, you know.
Give people context to what we're talking about.
And for context, he recently just posted, like, I doubt it's a shirt he's really gonna make with the design he put up, but it's like the shirt said Sin Clooney no hay pereo or some shit like that, right? And the reason being, like, he did something like that is because he knows he has a big, like, fan base of, like, Latinas.
Yeah.
So he's kind of catering to that, but also like, I don't think he knows exactly what that means. You know, like, perreo doesn't mean like a fucking party. Like, you know, it's a fucking movement that comes out of the fucking, you know, the music. You know, the grinding. You know, and all that shit. So when I saw that, I'm like, ugh, he should have like had a couple people go over this with, you know.
Yeah, it's like when people try to appropriate our culture in some way, but they don't use it in the right context.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I saw someone post something about Family Guy and how, because you know how, like, there's AAV and in the, like, the way that African Americans speak, it's like slang and that.
Oh, okay.
And people use it all the time, you know. And I guess, like, Family Guy, they said they use thick, but they said, like, oh, like, I forgot what he said. I forgot what Peter Griffin said. But he said something thick, and he was just like, or how Black Twitter uses it is, it means, like, attractive. But it's like, yes, but not really. And it's kind of that same thing. It's like, we have certain words that we use, but it's like, we know what it means, and we know what it stands for. But sometimes, like, white folks or people of other cultures, whatever, they'll use it in a different context. And it's like, at least, like, go on Urban Dictionary and kind of like look it up.
Yeah, especially like different like Latino groups, like Mexicans say the most ridiculous shit.
Oh, yes.
Like there's one phrase specifically that literally translates to the dick. Mm-hmm. And you know which one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
A la verga. You know, it's like, it's not, you know, if you just say a la verga, you know, somebody. This just reminds me of the fucking tweet that fucking that Zach did.
Oh, yeah.
The aloe vera one. You know, but like, if you don't really know something, that, you know, what it means, you know, just ask. You know, it's cool. But like, and I love Clooney, by the way. Yeah. But it's just, when I saw that, I just cringed a little bit. Like,
it's like, no hate. It's just like, at the same time, it's like, to bring it back to even like gesture. Like, obviously, everyone knows I love him. Like, I have another sticker.
Yeah.
But like, when he put out those candles, like the one where it's like he had the card with the little peach, and then he put the little candle.
Oh yeah.
Like, I remember a lot of people were giving him shit for it too.
Or even there was a couple of things that people were giving him shit for, but a lot of people got to realize that, yo, he's put on a lot of fucking Latinos.
Yeah, and that's why, dude, I honestly can never hate on Jim, like, because at the end of the day, like, when it comes to people who are there to actually be an ally and like put people on, I can never completely hate on them. No. If any, and that's why I always tell people, it's like, at least he has people around him who pull him aside. It's like, yeah, you know, maybe you shouldn't do that.
And that dude's definitely, especially like Mexican culture, he's definitely like,
he is tapped in. That fool is tapped in.
Cook like a Mexican too.
You know what's crazy? Have you watched what show was it? It's like on Netflix, where it's like they talk about like street food, but like in different parts of the states and stuff. Yeah. And so they did one for like they put on like this taco spot in LA, and I can't remember the name of it. It's like tacos. Hold on, let me look it up.
King Taco?
No.
Fuck that place, by the way.
King Taco is garbage, yo.
My guy, yes.
Bro, tell him about your viral tweet.
Oh yeah, was that this year?
I think that was this year.
That was this year. Yeah, I had a fucking viral tweet. It's the first time this ever happened to me. Or it said something along the lines of like, what's the worst taco place in LA and why is it King Taco? Like, I even ended up on the food community, like on their fucking Instagram. Which
I think like multiple ones, like,
I think so. But a lot of people agree, but then there's so many people like, nah, it's good. But every time they'd say some shit like that, they'd be like, the red salsa. I'm like, bro, that's really where you're gonna come down to, is the fucking salsa? I'm like, fuck out of here. You know, if you gotta fucking cover your shit up like that, it's pretty fucking shitty then.
Yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. When I was young, I used to fuck with King Taco heavy.
Because it used to be better. It used to
be the shit, yo. Yeah, when they were franchised, it used to be like, and I don't know, through the years, it just like it plummeted. Like, I remember, because the original King Taco is the one in East Los, right? Is it? Or is that one of the big staple ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember one time, because, mind you, I went to East LA College, so it's literally down the way. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go and get some King Taco.
Right.
Fam, when I got there and I forgot what exactly I got, but I got the food and I bit down on it. I threw that shit in the trash, bro. Like, I threw it away, and I was just like, fam, what the fuck was that?
Bro, it's because people, like you were saying, people always just reference the salsa, but it's like, bro, it's called King Taco. The tacos should be good. Mm-hmm. Oh, but this is how I know also Jim was, like, he's put on, because, like, from a lot, since he moved here, I remember he's, like, a big foodie guy. He'd always be talking about carnitas al momo. And it got featured in that Netflix show, and I remember when I saw it on there, I was like, bro, it's so funny. I was like, that's how I know Jim's tapped in too, because like he's always like talked about that spot, so it's funny seeing it now on a Netflix show.
Yeah, it was on. I don't know if you ever seen on YouTube with this one comedian, but he has a show called Tacos con Todo.
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched all of it.
That's how I found out about that place. And I think it's like a father-son thing, right?
Yeah.
Man, that shit looks good because they fucking put the carnitas in the olla and everything.
Yeah. Oh, bro, I love good carnitas.
Yes, the best.
But yeah, that's why I can't hate on him, because like that food's tapped in.
I would never see Jim at a fucking King Taco.
He actually likes King Taco.
Fuck you.
But because I remember I had this debate with him too.
Shattered his
I know.
perception of life.
Does
I gotta give him shit next time I see him.
No. But he doesn't get like the regular meats. Like he said he's
get like a pastor or carnitas or something.
I think he's a cabeza. It was this one time.
Yeah.
Like this was one time, like when he used to go on live all the time and like interact with his fans on live. I remember he was talking about like taco spots, and I was like, bro, King Taco's trash. And he was like defending. He's like, yeah, but like you don't get like the regular meats, because yeah, those aren't really good. But like he'll get like.
That's what I give them credit for, is they have more than just fucking asada.
I think he said like cabeza or tripas. I forget which one, but he said like those are good. And I was like, I don't remember. I don't remember King Taco's like cabeza and tripas, so I can't tell you. But I was like,
I'm gonna give a little bit of pushback though, because here's my concept when it comes to sushi too. If you fuck up the California rolls at a sushi spot, the basics, dude, then your place is trash. And if as a taco place, if you fuck up the basics as an asada, if that shit's mid, nah, bro. Like you fucking up. That's how I perceive it.
Even down to the fucking tortilla, you're fucking. That's literally your fucking meat and potatoes right there.
Yes. Dude, I love spots that make tacos a mano. I'm like, oh.
If I walk in there and I don't hear this shit, I'm walking out. I'm walking out.
Bro, that's fucking funny. I think that's also like how we bonded, because we bonded over food and coffee. I think one of my favorite times when you and I went to like we went to Bobby's. I took him to Bobby's one time, and him and I were just like chopping it up and like talking about like life and shit. And the waitress kept like pouring up our coffee like 5 different times. Fuck. And then we still had the audacity to go to Lee's after. We were fucking. Where were we going? Or I had something that.
You had sound that night.
Oh.
Space Yacht. Mhm. So I think it was around the time they had just reopened.
Oh, this is true. It's so funny because I was talking to Nicole, and obviously she's like newer to all of this. Like she only started doing all this like maybe a year ago.
Literally last year.
Yeah, and she's been going to Space Yacht and stuff. And I remember I thought about going this past Tuesday, and then I was like, it's hard for me to go during the week now. I have my little routine. I like to be home. I like to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to bed late, it's because I'm watching Netflix, honestly. Like it's so bad. And she was like, no, we have to plan to go one of these Tuesdays. I was like, I'll go to one with you one of these Tuesdays, but this Tuesday was like a no-go for me.
Yeah. Going out on Tuesday is so difficult.
Because then now, like, I think before also it's because, like, at my old job, where when I was really going at it, like I had a pretty lenient schedule. I mean, I still have a pretty lenient schedule, but like then it was like I really just, it was whatever about it. And most of the time I'd be off on Wednesday, so it would work out. Like I'd just, rest and stuff. But at least now, like on my days off, like there's times where I like to be lazy, and then there's other times where I want to be productive. Like I'll be doing laundry or stuff like that. So it's like if I go out nowadays, I really feel like shit after. So then I'm not going to want to do anything. So then it's like...
And then you still have the whole fucking week to look forward to where you got to do shit. That's where I'm like, ugh.
Dude, after Nocturnal, I was like recovering for like a couple of days. It's not it.
I was dead by like the middle of day 2.
That's right, because you guys went to second day.
And I don't do 2 days. That's very rare.
But you're doing 2 days for cross?
Yeah.
I will say though, it's a totally different vibe.
Whole different vibe.
Totally different vibe. And you're in San Diego. It's cold. It's gonna be nice and chilly. It's all like techno house and like live acts. It's fine.
Yeah, and luckily too, we got like a walking distance hotel.
Oh, nice. I should get on that. I forgot. Well, because also what I'm gonna try and aim to do is only do like the second day.
Oh, okay.
So, but even then, like I probably should get on that. But the thing with San Diego is that since it's such a city, everything's pretty close. You know what? Chicago reminded me of San Diego.
Yeah, I explained this to you and to Bree, where it's like a small town vibe in a big city.
It's so odd, but so cool. I loved.
Right?
I fell in love with Chicago. I want to go
love it.
back so bad. Like we need to make another trip. I fell in love with it so much.
Food
And
culture is great too.
And you told me too. You were like, you're gonna like it. Like you've been telling me for like a minute, and
I told you flights are cheap. Why not just go? You know.
It was great. I honestly fell in love with Chicago, and I want to go to like a house event next time though.
Oh,
I wouldn't even
Chicago.
mind going for ARC. ARC looks like so much fun.
That does look so fun.
Speaking of house, I feel like, you know, we talked about you guys coming up in like that Moomba era, but like now you guys have definitely kind of made more of a shift with your guys' music, like you and Ernie.
Yeah.
And you guys have definitely gone more like the housey route, but I feel like you guys do such a great job with it, especially you. You have such an extensive library. It's so funny watching you DJ and then watching other people watch you DJ because they're like, what song is this?
Every time it's so funny. It's like, cause I also don't like playing stuff that everyone's gonna know.
Yeah.
It's easy, you know. It's like I like playing stuff that you're gonna like, cause I think you're gonna like it. If not, I'm gonna make you like it.
This is very true. I feel like you and then I have one other friend, Abe.
Oh,
You
he's
guys-
great too.
You guys do a really good job at digging for music.
He's a good I'd say a good curator.
You guys both, I have a lot of respect for you guys, like as DJs too, because you guys actually take your time to like actually look up music, and you guys, and don't get me wrong, you do a really good job too at adding like the songs that, you know,
Yeah.
people do like to listen to, but you
You
also
can only do so much with house that isn't like being like fucking Carl Cox and playing 4 songs at the same time. You know, but yeah, that's the easy part, I think. But the sound selecting, that's everything to me.
And I feel like as a DJ, like if you don't, because there are DJs who will play like all the same shit, and it's like all the popular shit, and I'm like, I get it. You want to like, I feel like that's such a cheap shot too, though. I mean, I can't.
It's catering.
It's catering, but at the same time, I feel like that's such an easy win sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you're gonna get a good reaction from the crowd because those are all songs that everybody recognizes, and I can get that too. Like, I feel like it also just depends on the event.
Yeah.
Because it's like, obviously there are those events where it's like, no, you should do that. But then I feel like there are some events where I feel like some people kind of take it for granted because they're so used to playing all this shit all the time. So they're like, I'm gonna just go with what I know is gonna.
Yeah. Old faithful.
Yeah.
Old reliable.
You can hate on it also, like, but also I get it.
DJs are really underappreciated.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because obviously we're still very much a part of the EDM Twitter community, and obviously the topic of, oh, should DJs be booked at festivals always comes up here and there.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, every
That don't produce.
yeah. But the thing is, DJs that don't produce be throwing down the most sick sets, like even better than the DJs that do produce, because obviously their focus is just on the curation, and that's something that you and Abe have done really phenomenal. I mean, mind you, you also produce as well, but
Yeah.
you're very in tune with the culture of DJing.
And I think
Which is
that's
great.
what's made me a better producer, is being tapped in and knowing what people like. Like, I always tell, like, Ernie, because I like to let him handle a lot more of the engineering side. Is
And
like,
he's really good at it.
he's a nerd. I love it. He doesn't look like a nerd, but he's a nerd.
It's so funny because I remember I went to Vegas with him and Eric for Vibra and stuff.
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
well, Ernie was already out there in Vegas. And that was the first time where, like, him and Eric kind of, you know, like nerded out together.
Yeah.
In the context of like music and stuff, it was the first time where they both kind of like talked music and like were on their computers and all this shit. And I remember looking at both of them while I was doing my makeup, and they were just like on their little computer, like, oh, they're such fucking nerds. But it's like,
true.
But it's cute. It's like, it's adorable in the sense that watching nerds like bond like that, whether it's like them two or even just like other people, like when I watch you and Ernie work, or when I watch like other friends who are so dedicated to their craft, like nerd out. I remember like I would always find myself in a room with you guys, and you guys would be talking about all kinds of like nerdy shit, and I'm just like, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just step out.
I'm always just like, yeah, just nod and wave, boys, just nod and wave. And I remember for a little while, because I was kicking it with all of you guys so much, I got asked like a few times, like, oh, so do you make music too? And I'm like, no. Or like, oh, well, do you DJ? I'm like, no, just here, chilling, the homies. I just here, I just like listen to them. But I think the one thing I did appreciate with like you and Ernie too is that you guys would ask my opinion, because they're like, and I remember in the beginning I'd be like, are you sure? Like, I don't make music. Like, I don't know why you guys are asking me. And you guys would always say, but that's the point. Like, because you don't make music, you don't listen to it from like a producer standpoint. You listen to it as someone who's going to hear it, like as just a regular listener.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think is a big problem too with a lot of producers, is I think a lot of them are producing for other producers.
Yeah.
And it's so
I've
weird.
noticed that too.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, like check out this specific like bass line or whatever that I fucking tweak to this fucking certain fucking whatever. Like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, does it sound good? Does it slap in the club? Are people throwing ass to it? That's what I care about. And I learned that a lot from Sav, because he's like, man, not everything needs to be fucking super fucking technical. If it fucking sounds good, it sounds good.
I love Sav.
He's great.
Sav?
He's somewhere on a beach right now, drinking a fucking...
He's at a soccer game right now, I think.
Wasn't that earlier?
I don't know what the time... What's the time
It
difference?
looks dark. Was that just like the early morning, or...?
I have no idea, dude. I don't know what the time difference is between here and Colombia, to be honest.
They're a little ahead.
Are they? Well, so it would be nighttime.
Fuck, earlier, though? I don't know.
I don't know when he posted it, to be honest. But that fool's living his best life. Honestly, though, if it wasn't for Sav, I wouldn't really know you like that.
This is true.
Because, for those that don't know, I technically met Eddie through the internet also. You know, it's really, I think about it all the time, how, like, growing up, people tell you, like, oh, don't talk to people on the internet. You're going to get kidnapped. You're going to this, and that. But most of my friends I've met through the internet. Like, we've met through the internet, technically, like, during, like, the whole pandemic quarantine thing, when Sav is from Fight Club, would do the streams and whatnot. Yeah. And then he had Discord, and then I would always see your name. I'm like, hi. And, like, you guys even did the stream with him a few times.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, it ended up, like, we started talking, became friends, and was working with Sav for a little bit, which also you were too.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Eddie's also a sick-ass graphic designer, so if you have any graphic design needs, hit my boy up.
Hit my line.
Mm-hmm. And you've had a lot of work lately, too.
So much work.
You've been working with everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it just did the latest song with Sav and Chewy. That one was pretty fun to do.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
That was fun. Yeah, there's just so much work. Like, I don't even know what to throw out, you know. Like, I do a lot of stuff like the homie Decimore, too.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everyone. Like, if you're in the global bass scene, I've probably done something for you.
This is true. Oh, and those that don't know, he did mine, too.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. That was so long ago.
Lucky me, too.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I really needed that, like, that rectangular one for the intro to, like, the video and shit. And
I think I sent you some other ones, too, in case you didn't want to use the background, right?
Yeah, no, but the background one is great, dude. That the I'm looking at it right now on my end, and just the lettering, it's just you're very talented, bro.
I love.
And
lettering.
I'm not just sucking your dick here, but you're
no, please,
you're fucking
continue.
good. Nah, bro. you're really good, bro. You're a phenomenal talent, dude.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Of course, brother.
Yeah, I think a lot of that came from me wanting to be useful to everyone, like especially growing up. Like, I'm like, fuck, what can I do for people just to kind of like befriend them almost. Yeah, because I felt like growing up, like as a little kid, I was always such a fucking outcast. So it's like doing that shit definitely expanded like my friend group.
You know what's really funny is that I feel like that's a lot of people in any kind of creative outlet. We've all felt like outcasts or like the black sheep.
Yeah.
And that's also how we bonded too, because like we all like trauma bond. But it's funny because like you and I have had a lot of conversations. Stayed up very late talking about all kinds of things, but I've always appreciated that with you the conversation is always very easy, and you always give me like another perspective, because you and I both have ways of thinking where we can see outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
And I've always respected and appreciated that when it comes to you. Like I could talk to you about like all kinds of issues and problems, but you've always had a very good way of thinking where like you remind me that it's a lot smaller than I think it is, because me like I'll go from like 0 to 100, and you're always like, dude, it's like at a 1.
Yeah, like shit, like even when you met me, I used to be a fucking angry ass fucking person.
This fool is fucking mad at the world.
Yeah.
That fool would fight.
Now, yeah. Now I'm like, is this gonna fucking matter even like fucking like a day from now, 2 days from now, 5 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now?
I feel like I've helped you with that a lot too.
And if it doesn't, why the fuck am I gonna fucking worry about it? It's just a small little hill you gotta get over, you know?
I feel like when we met too, we're both at very... One, you were just too angry and like mad at the world, and me, it's just I couldn't get mad enough. Like you would tell me to stand up for myself, and I'm like, meh. I'd be like too scared to.
I think you were trying to play too much into the whole tranquil thing, but also not realizing that you got to deal with some certain shit. If that makes any sense, you get what I mean? Like you were trying too cool not to worry, trying to be too cool and not worry about shit. Not in a negative way. It's just like you're not realizing that there's like. Back then, you weren't realizing this is some shit you gotta fucking pay for later on down the line. Yeah. Because it's just all gonna fucking stack up and stack up. And I realized that because that's the same way I was, because that's where all that fucking anger came from. Because
it's just for
I didn't
us,
deal with it.
It manifested in different ways. Like for you, it would come out in like angry outbursts, and for me, I would just like hold it in until like eventually I would. It's
explode. Like that meme. I'm fine.
I'm fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. When everything is on fire. That is like that is me. That is me in a meme. Except with you, you'd be like, you're the one that started the fire.
But now you're not afraid to be more vocal about shit that disgruntles you or if you're not comfortable with.
Bro, especially like trying to date someone now, I feel like I did a really good job in doing that in my everyday life and in friendships. But like when you're doing that also like in the dating world where I've had to apply it in that's... There's days where I'm like, I'm tired of talking. Can we just like... But at the same time, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's like, the one thing is like, how's the other person's not a mind reader, so how are they supposed to know how to fucking handle you and like understand that, especially me, I'm such an overthinker, but I'm also the type of person where like, I don't like to inconvenience the other person. Oh, yeah. So I'll be like, okay, it's okay. And then like, I've noticed too, like, I can't go to sleep if we don't fix it. I'll lay in bed and just like stare at the ceiling. And then it's the worst because I'll be that type of person where like the other person's trying to sleep and I'll be like, so can we talk? And they're like, are you serious right now? And I'm like, so X, Y, and Z bothered me and this is why, and like, and then, but like he'll know too. He'll be like, you're off. What's wrong? I'm like,
yeah, whether it's like how conversations are flowing, you know, getting certain kind of responses, like, you know, at least you should fucking know as a guy, but a lot of them don't, unfortunately, right over their fucking head. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's like why like this relationship has worked out so well with Breeze, because like we're very vocal with each other, and I could fucking read her like a fucking book.
I mean, that happens when you spend a lot of time with someone.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been good though. Very
I know, it makes me very happy. I like you guys together. Now.
Oh, God.
No, I mean, it was just interesting. I was just like, this is like someone I consider a brother, and this is someone who's my best friend. So I'm like, this better work out or I'll fight someone. But if it does, like, since it does work out, I still take credit for it. I'm like, y'all wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for me.
This is true.
It's so funny because I was thinking about this the other day too, and I always think about it all the time because it's not the first time it's mentioned to me. But like with Alec, you know how I told you how I kind of helped him get that dim mock thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny how I always find a way to like put people onto certain people where I'm just like, oh, I think you'd be cool with this person. And sometimes it's like even unintentional. Like, I don't mean to. It's just like the people I surround myself, they always somehow to click with each other in some way. And I wish I could like harness that in a certain way to where I could do it intentionally all the time, but I don't know how to. Like,
you really are like the.
But you're like that too.
Yeah, but I think you're more of a friend plug. I'm more of a. I think you two would do well, like on some music kind of shit, almost on the business level.
No, but like not even just music too. I feel like, actually no, yeah, but in a business sense, you are pretty good at that.
Yeah, that's true. Fucking, that's so funny because like I always think about how like me and like Zemix met, like which was that fucking album release party.
Oh yeah.
that party is like, it's so funny how there was so many fucking strangers in that room that ended up being a big group of fucking friends.
I know it, and I always
Eric was there.
I know. I always laugh at the group picture because it's like me, Nancy, and Sabrina here.
Did he take that photo though, Eric?
I think so. I think he might have.
I gotta ask him.
I know. I think so because I think it was him and a few other. No, because there was a couple other photographers there that day.
Oh, okay.
But Eric is another person who I've really loved watching like develop. So proud of that kid.
That fool's. He's got the biggest fucking glow up I've ever seen. Like,
I know. He's about to shoot at the next Dororo show in Denver.
Oh, he did. Yeah, fuck.
He finally announced
He did
that.
post that.
Very
Yeah,
excited.
and then last night he mentioned to me about another one for the
I don't think he said that publicly, but I know what you're talking about.
That's why I'm just vaguely speaking on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm like, bro, you're fucking killing it, you know?
I know.
And
I'm so proud of him.
anytime I see a venture picture,
Mm-hmm.
I know, because he just has like a certain signature on it.
Mm-hmm. That's why I have like a lot of respect for him, or just people like that in general that can like. They don't stop, like they know what they want and they set their mind to it and they're like, no, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna work for it, and even when, because he started out with just GIFs and that was like his thing, and then once like Sav kind of took him under his wing, he was just like, you should probably like develop this into like actual photography and then eventually videography because it's gonna open more doors for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I always respect someone who could take criticism and not take it so to heart and actually like put in the effort to like fix themselves and like evolve and like keep pushing forward.
Yeah, that dude's a sponge. He takes in like any sort of like information he can find useful, and he'll just work on it.
And it's funny because I talked to him about certain other photographers I've met in the past where, here's the thing, you can have talent and he has talent, but it doesn't, some people let it get to them, to their head, to where like they feel like they deserve to be in certain positions, or they're or I've heard like literally them talk about other photographers like, they're like, his shit's not even that good, like I should be a lot further.
Oh,
like,
the why not me's.
Yeah, and I feel like that's so annoying, and that's the one thing I love about him is that he's never like that. And I feel like a lot of people that we know aren't like that as well. Like they know, and the ones that have been in that mentality, it's understandable because a lot of people, like no matter what, they'll be there at one point, but it's whether they dig themselves out of it and they're like, you know what, no, the world doesn't owe to me, so I'm gonna work harder.
Yeah, shit. There's so many fucking producers like that, and then like I always say, like, why the fuck are you wasting your time complaining about shit when you could put that time into focusing on your craft, working harder, trying to put yourself in a fucking position to make you, you know, grow.
Mm-hmm.
But people are just like fucking victimizing themselves and just like fucking dwelling on just the bad shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's temporary. You're gonna fucking get over it, bro. Like, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also like a discipline thing too, man, because obviously having an idea in your mind is one thing, but actually putting your foot forward and continuing even with shit in the way, any obstacle, because that's the thing. most people will see an obstacle in their way and they'll just let that shit stop their momentum. And then when they stop, they struggle to overcome that hurdle, and then they're just like, man, fuck. So the easy thing for them to do is just like, man, it's because this, it's because that, so on and so forth. And just like you said, though, like, they should really just focus on themselves. And when they do that,
there's so many fucking days I don't want to fucking work, dude. Like, but I gotta fucking do it. Like, fucking, you guys say the same thing. There's some days you don't want to fucking work. You don't want to get out of bed, but fucking, you got fucking bills to pay. You got shit to take care of, and you're not trying to keep yourself in the fucking same position. Like, I don't understand that mentality of just like, oh, like, I'm gonna have a bad day and I'm gonna just like continue to have a fucking bad day. Because I do kind of understand it, because I used to be that fucking person.
Yeah. But
also, it's just like figuring out that you're like the person stopping yourself. You're your own biggest fucking enemy. And once you get past that and realize that, like, oh, like, I have the ability to fucking glow up because of me, fucking, you know, just, you can take over the fucking world just doing that.
And we've seen a lot of people, like, come in and out of our lives, like, as creatives, who we see that and we're just like, yeah, we can't hang around that. We have a lot of love for them and, like, you know, we wish them the best, but we also just can't be around that either, because that shit is so toxic, and it's like,
it's a bummer.
Yeah, it just brings you down as well. It's like when you're on that frequency as well, and like you just can't, and you're stuck in that, being around that pulls you down as well. And that's the one thing I'm very grateful with you about, is that you, like, when we were hanging around a lot, like, you made me stick up for myself a lot, but you also, like, told me, like, bro, it's okay to put boundaries, in that sense of that it's okay if, like, for you to put distance between you and another person if it's gonna bring you down. Because you would see me stress out a lot about, like, certain relationships that I had in my life at the time, or certain situations, and you're like, bro, it's just, like, making you worse, and it's bringing you down so much. And it's okay, like, for you to distance yourself from people. It doesn't mean that you don't love them, it doesn't mean that you don't have respect for them. It's just putting yourself and your own mental, like, first.
Yeah. And then, like, kind of similar thing too is, like, when we really started to talk, like, you really got into my head that, like, if I kept acting a certain way, I was just only gonna fucking push people out of my fucking life. And that really, like, put things into, you know, perspective, where, like, yo, like, I really need to fucking grow the fuck up damn near, you know.
It was funny because when we it's really funny because I remember the first time we met too, like, it wasn't like the best light.
I had a
like,
whole ass mental breakdown.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but, like, he had like a whole ass mental breakdown, like, while he was drunk, and it was.
That's the thing, though, I wasn't drunk.
I think you got drunk after.
No. I literally only had 2 beers. I was just having a fucking.
You're just going.
It's just where I was at specifically was very triggering.
Yeah.
So that's what
and
it was.
I understood why, and that's why, like, I didn't completely, like, hate on you or harp on you, and that's also. But, like, I remember I was even trying to talk to you, like, bro, like, obviously, this is a very triggering situation, but at the same time, like, you don't want to. Why are you digging yourself more in a hole? Like, your cousin. Well, I don't really want to talk about exactly what, but, like, this person wouldn't want you to be, like, in that space either. Yeah. But I can tell, like, you couldn't hear it, and I was just like, whatever. And at the time, I was just like, this was a mess. But it was funny because at that time, like, I was talking more with, like, Ernie, and him and I were kind of bonding over, like, certain shit. But when I got the context of, like, why you were kind of going through it, I understood, like, why.
Yeah, because I'm sure, like, you spoke to Ernie on, like, that same, like, kind of, like, situation. Because he has a whole, like, similar but different perspective. So it's, like, I think it made it, like, it just all came full circle. So, like, oh, that's why he was acting that fucking way, you know?
And it's funny because, like, him and I actually talked about that situation not that long ago. And it kind of made me understand him as well a little bit better too, about why he is the way he is, and, like, why certain things, like, why you took that route and he took a different route in the way that it affected you, you know? And once you and I got closer and stuff, I kind of told you, I'm like, I'm gonna need you to like pull yourself out of this, or else like we can't be friends either. Cause like I don't like this.
Yeah.
Like this is annoying. I don't like this side of you. Cause I saw the potential in you, and I knew how great you can be for like other people, especially in the way that you connect yourself with so many different people. Cause you and I are very similar in that way. We're like, we know a lot of people, and like we can get along with different kinds of people in a very good sense, and we can be a light to certain people. But when we're not okay ourselves, it affects other people in a negative way as well. And I didn't want that for you either, and I know you didn't want that for me as well. Because like when you're at your best, you're like, bro, you be like talking to everybody. You be like,
I'm a dog connector.
And you'll be working hard, and you'll be hustling, and like that's when you also come up with like the best art, whether it's like when you're drawing or musically as well.
Yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, that's all I want for you too. And that's when I started working with you and Ernie too, because I saw like really, really great potential in both of you, because you and I got close. And for a while, like even when I first met you guys, Ernie and I would talk a lot too. And we would talk about, and I always really respected the way that no matter what, you guys never gave up on yourselves, even when like a lot of your family just didn't understand.
Yeah.
And I got that as well. And I remember you guys would always talk to me about that, whether it's like your guys' parents or like other people in your guys' family, like they wouldn't get it, but you guys had each other. I always loved that. I was just like, I like you guys.
Yeah, it's true. We're definitely like the black sheep of the family. And like, it's so funny because you would think him and I would probably bump heads, like occasionally. It never really happens. Like, it never really happens. I don't think we've really ever had that, like ever. So it's because Ernie's very good at kind of accepting like criticism. I like to think, in terms of like, you know, the music and all that stuff. Like, he's not afraid to see another perspective. So
he's like a sponge too.
Yeah, that's why I think him and Eric are very similar. Very, very, very similar. But yeah, it's been so easy just working with him. And like everybody's always surprised when like I tell them like, oh, he's my cousin. Like, the fuck, you guys look nothing alike at all. And then I always thought it was cool too, just, you know, working with your cousin, you know.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like some people can work with family and some people can't.
Yeah,
but
some
you guys
people
have a very mutual respect for each other. That you guys can talk about what you guys think is best for your guys' brand or music, whatever. And it's not really like a dig or anything. You guys both take the idea with like, they're like, okay, yeah, like let's build on that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then even though like more like recent stuff that we've been doing, like I've been kind of taking a seat, like or a step back from like doing just the music stuff and just more focusing on like the business part. And honestly, it's been working out very well because I feel like somebody's got to fucking do it. I don't think Ernie really wants to do that stuff. I think he just wants to make music, which is fucking completely great.
And that's kind of just been his mentality. He's been wanting to be like, especially right now, because like he started working again, so he's very much focused like on that career too. And like the music stuff, like even though he loves it, is something that he knows he's not always gonna want to have like his full focus on.
Yeah.
Which I get. I respect.
No, yeah. Like shit. Even for me, like I don't want to do music forever.
And that is the one thing that you and I always saw eye to eye on, because even when I was working with Sav, even when you even suggested it and you told Sav like, hey, you know, like let her help you guys out, like, because I know you guys need the help. We both always knew that music was never something I wanted forever or full time, or like to even invest myself in that much. Because even when like I don't get me wrong, I loved working with Sav. Like, I did enjoy my time with that, and it was fun. There were moments where I'm like, I don't like doing this. This isn't for me. Just because, like, the music industry itself is very, like, fickle. Like, it's so up and down, and, like, you never know what, like, any random thing can work, and then some things don't.
Yeah. It's a lot of luck, I think. Especially now with the way like social media is with algorithms and all that shit. It's so fucking bad.
And also because like me, I love music. I love when a song can make me feel a certain way, and like lyrics and all that stuff. But like when you're actually like having to work in it, it's weird.
It is weird. Like, you know, when work or when fun becomes work, I think that
It's
definitely
not fun anymore.
it's not fun anymore.
You also see the magic get taken away a lot because, like,
Oh, yeah.
in that, like, especially working with Sav, I saw a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, especially with, like, certain people, and I'm like, oh, I can't look at you the same. And, like, it's cool and all, but you and I always had a vision and an idea of, like, outside of music, and so does Ernie, and that's why, like, the three of us really got along because we would talk a lot about things that we wanted to do and, like, dreams where it was, like, outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we all still want to do it because even I was talking about that with Ernie not that long ago too, where because I asked him, I was like, do you still want to do this thing? And he's like, I do. I just have to right now. I'm kind of focused on this so that I can fund that. And I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's good to have a dream, but if you can't fund that dream, yeah,
Yeah, and like we have a lot of dreams. Like
it's just a dream at that point.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that we want to do eventually, but it's like kind of have to focus on one thing to make the other thing possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of different moving parts that go into it. Like a song doesn't just get released, you know, like or like any artist, like you know, you gotta put mixing and mastering behind it. You gotta get artwork for it. You gotta get some sort of marketing plan for it. You know, it's like so many things that you know are needed just for a simple fucking release.
Mm-hmm.
And like I love like our relationship, especially with Ernie too. It's like we're all very into fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't usually dress like I'm very into fashion, but I
Bro,
know
I'm
about
over here in
fashion.
my Crocs.
All comfy and shit. Oh,
Bro.
you're not even in sports mode, okay?
Yeah, no,
Maybe
I'm
later.
chilling today. Bro, I had other shoot. Like I had my Air Force Ones with me, but I'm so comfy today. But you also know, like when I want to, I can push it together, and I feel like, and that's also what I love talking about with you and Ernie when we talk about clothes. Like when we talk about like the merch and talk about other things that we want to do later on. We all have a very similar mindset in that we all love clothes. It's funny though because like we all have different tastes but very similar too.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say we're definitely not the type that's into like fast temporary fashion, like Forever 21 type of shit.
Nothing wrong with it. Every now and then I like to throw shit on here and there, but
that isn't what we would like to do if we
No.
focus on that.
Mm-mm. And the one thing too is that whenever you guys would put out stuff, you'd always want it to be like good. Like I love a lot of the shirts and the hoodies that we have.
Yeah, and
That aren't really
I always tell people like I've mentioned to you like my 5-year rule, which is if I don't see somebody like willing to wear this in 5 years, I don't want to put it out. You know, I don't want to just do like it's almost like making a fucking shirt out of a meme. Like it's so temporary. It's like nobody's gonna know what the fuck that means like a year from now.
And even like, dude, your guys' logo is so nice. It's so sick. It's like it's one of my favorites because also what you guys were really smart in that is that you guys can use it on anything. It'd make a good sticker. It would make a good like on a shirt, on the back of a shirt, like on right here, on a hat, socks, whatever.
Yeah, and then the cool thing that we did with that is, like, we didn't make it say like, you know, we did music. You know, it just looks like a brand. So every time somebody sees it, they're like, "Yo, what's that?" You know, it's like, oh, it's like, it's us. You know, we're a duo, but we also do like our own merch. We do this and that. You know, so it's gonna not pigeonhole us. So like, if we wanted to just carry that on to just being a clothing brand, we could.
And that is the thing that I always love talking to you guys about is like brands, and even when I was starting this, like I told you guys I don't want it to niche it so much that I can't, you know, venture into something else, or I can't use it for like multiple things later on. And it's the same thing with you guys when we would talk about like your guys' brand, we would talk, or even just doing other future ventures. You guys can easily take the logo and the name to like so many other things, and it can branch off into like its own thing.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think Aldo could chime in on this right here. Like, I don't like when like a lot of dubstep artists just put dubs in their name. It's like you're really limiting yourself on like what you can do. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
That and also upside down V's for either A's or U's.
Sorry, Sav. But he's not a dubstep guy, so
Yeah.
but still, That's a very outdated thing at this fucking point too.
The thing about dubstep that I feel is that I feel like it's, and this is why, like, every time I hear y'all talk about like house music and shit like that, I feel like, fuck, yo, I'm over here stagnant. Like, I'm not growing up, dude. Like, I'm not maturing or anything, because you'll always for sure see me at a bass show, whether it's experimental or dubstep. But the thing is, the truth is, with that scene, it really curates to people that are just getting into the rave culture, that are very much young, because the sound is, and this is something that I forget, the guy with short hair, blonde short hair from Above and Beyond.
Oh.
He talked with Seven Lions a long time ago, kind of like an interview kind of thing.
Oh, I've seen that one. Yeah,
and he talked about how, like, dubstep is kind of like a roller coaster of some sorts. Like, the sound and everything, it's not linear in any way. It's not like your common, like, house music where it has a certain bop and a certain groove, and it stays consistent in that groove. Now, obviously, you have shit like rhythm and shit like that has the same drum patterns and all that stuff, but you see as a whole, the bass community, like, everything is just kind of like a blender, and it gives, like, newer people that get into the scene excitement because of that. But as far as longevity goes, there's not much longevity. Like, no offense, but there's barely, like, the only tunes that I could say that's, like, timeless when it comes to dubstep is, like, Scary Monsters and Night Sprite by fucking Skrillex.
Like
early Rusko, shit like that. But that's because some way, somehow, it was either marketed or it just, there was, like, a lot of, like, thought process into it. Thought process now with dubstep is like, nah, make that shit loud as fuck as you can with a crazy ass snare and make that shit bang. But as far as longevity goes, there's not much. That's why
you know what I think is, though, the I guess the alternative, like, as you're growing up, you know, D&B.
And that's the thing that I'm very happy now that drum and bass is getting received better. I mean, I just came back from Los Angeles, like, 2 weekends ago, and the amount of people actually grooving and getting down to drum and bass is way better than how it was last year when drum and bass was being reintroduced to the States. But I will have pushback, though, because most people in the States really don't fuck with drum and bass like that. And that's why the drum and bass extremists get mad at us over here in the States. They're like, man, you motherfuckers, y'all not treating this like it's, like, culture. Y'all just treating this like as a fad and shit.
Which I will get to, because, like, even like you said, like, a lot of people that are getting, or people, even like people like at Lost Lands, I saw, like, a lot of them were kind of newer to the scene. So I get why they say they treat it like a fad, because it's like a lot of people that are grooving to it now, like, they're getting into it when DMB's kind of, like, coming back around. So it's easy for them to, like, be like, oh yeah, this is dope, because it's like they just got reintroduced to it.
It's just unfortunate, though, because what did happen, and this is something I saw, I think, I want to say he used to go by Flute. His name now is Justin Hawks. I don't know if you're aware of who that is, but he's a drum and bass producer. But I believe it was him that said it. But during the pandemic, you saw Sullivan King make a tweet like, oh, hey, everyone, you know, we got nothing to lose. Let's start producing drum and bass. And that really riled up the people within the drum and bass community. They were like, no, you can't just treat this shit like it's just, oh, what's there to lose? Like, we ain't got, you know, you can't treat it that way. Yeah. Because it's the same way, like, y'all talked about Moombahton. Moombahton is a very small but sacred community.
Yeah, it's very niche.
It's very niche. So when you treat a community like that, same thing with, like, hard dance. Hard dance, the reason I feel like it's not being pushed hard in the States is because it's not treated like it would be in Europe and shit like that. Yeah. Same thing with, like, well, techno now is starting to come up, like, but what I'm getting to is, like, yeah, like, the alternative would be, like, drum and bass and shit, or just experimental bass, because experimental bass is very underground, so the underground will always have a scene. Yeah. Drum and bass will always have a scene because it has that core fan base, but dubstep as a whole, and mind you, as someone who, I have to really reevaluate my top 5, but I generally do like Edxvicious. Do I think he's a top 10 producer? Absolutely not. Do I think he curates great events? Absolutely. But I even found myself at his set at Lost Lands, and I thought to myself, like, damn, this motherfucker is stagnant. Like, The first 10 minutes usually grabs me, but his set at Los Angeles was kind of like.
So you think he's become complacent?
I think that he is trying to get as much nut as possible from the dubstep bass community as he can, while still trying to reinvent himself. But he can't reinvent himself. He's kind of stagnant.
I think that's kind of also. I think he's kind of also doing the same thing we were talking about earlier, where he's just playing the shit that he knows is going to get a reaction.
And that's what's bad, because you're not really curating to like the longevity of it.
It's not evolving.
That's why That's why I have strong admiration for individuals like Sudden Death, who has a side alias which is Void. People hate it for, it's very demonic. I don't care. It's creative. Mm-hmm. You need to be creative. Sudden Death has branded himself into this spot that he's be able to showcase his creativeness with the Void project. You get acts like Space Laces, who to the core is a dubstep producer, but this motherfucker could throw in some electro house, some
That's how I found out about him.
Yeah, and then same thing with like I'm blanking out. Imanu.
Oh yeah,
Imanu, very talented.
Fucking shit up right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's top 5 right now, in my opinion. But damn, long tangent. How the fuck do we get here? Yeah, the point is yeah, like with dubstep
about branding.
Branding, yeah. It's just I feel like a lot of dubstep DJs that they fuck with it. Don't get me wrong, they do fuck with it, but they're just trying to get their quick nut in and out quick, and they're not really thinking of longevity.
Yeah.
And you could take that to like different genres, like outside of EDM too. Like for example, like look at Bad Bunny and like Daddy Yankee. Mm-hmm. Like Daddy Yankee, you know, like when we're listening to Loud and stuff, like even they said like he was doing really well. Gasolina came out, but then the album after that, it's like he couldn't really bring that same energy. Like he could, but it's just like also just people didn't have a lot of faith in it, and it's all in the branding and marketing and whether people like believe in it or not. And I feel like Bad Bunny came at a really good time because it started to come back around with like J Balvin and like Nicki Jam coming back up, and then like all this other things. But Bad Bunny does a really good job in that he started out with like more like trap heavy shit.
I was just about to say that because one of the things that he did well was take advantage of that Latin trap wave that came, but from that he was able to build the foundation to what he ultimately wanted to do.
And he continues to evolve, because even when you listen to like the last album, Último Tour del Mundo, like there's a lot of debate whether that album was good or not. Even when it first dropped,
he was on his emo shit with that one.
Yeah, and there was a lot of fucking debate with that one, because some people hated it, some people thought it was like not his better one, some people said it was amazing. It's just I had a respect for that album too, because like you can tell he really experimented with that one. Like he wanted to like make songs that he wanted to make, and like that was inspired by different and even with Un Verano Sin Ti, he has this song that's like more merengue, and he has songs with fucking the Marias, which is so like more like alternative.
Yeah.
And people who do a really good job at not niching themselves too much, like it's still he still has reggaeton songs on there, he still has Latin trap songs on there. But he knows that like that's not all he wants to do. So it's like even with you guys don't trap your guys or niche your guys self so much. Even though you guys went for like Mumtan and all that shit to like doing more housey stuff, and I know for a fact that's not all you guys want to do. Like I know, like Ernie likes making certain like reggaeton beats too, or like.
Yeah, I had to have a very like long conversation with myself about that, because I almost felt like I was kind of turning my back on Moombahton, like when we switched. But then I had a talk with fucking Dave, because so Nadastrom was always known, you know, for Moombahton, because obviously fucking Dave created Moombahton. But then they came out with this album. It was a deep house album. So many people were fucking disappointed. And I think it's like the same thing with the fucking Bad Bunny album. Because what fucks up shit for a lot of people is they expect shit. They expect a certain sound. And when you're not open to other shit, you're just going to be, you know, you're setting yourself up for fucking disappointment. And like, I did have that, like, I had that conversation with Dave, and I was like, dude, like, how the fuck did you get over that? Like, because because I know there was so many people just hating on it. He's like, dude, like, we just didn't want to be stuck. Like, we didn't want to just be known as the fucking Moomba guys. Like, we wanted to try something else because we knew if we didn't do that, like, we're just gonna wonder like our whole lives, like, why not, you know? Like, and it made me a lot more comfortable. He's like, as long as you fucking stay true to yourself and like just not do it for the fucking fads or the trends or whatever, you're gonna be fine. And if you just genuinely like the shit, just keep doing it. Because he was hearing some of the early house shit that we were doing. He's like, yo, like, these are actually really fucking dope. But yeah, like that Bad Bunny album, I didn't like it at first, but because I fucked myself up with the whole expectations. And I listened to it again like later on. I was like, damn, like this was really on some other shit, like fusing like different things that you usually wouldn't hear in like a Latin genre. Yeah. So actually, from that one, from being like my least favorite album to being probably like my second favorite. Oh man.
Not only that, but your own fan base could trap you, man. So it's very important as an, mind you, I'm not an artist at all. I mean, I would love to down the road, but who really knows? But when you, like, yes, you're trying to create to your fan base. That's first and foremost. But your own fan base could turn on you. I mean, perfect example, in my opinion, Drake. Drake played the safe game throughout how long? A decade? And, you know, that safe game has kept him on top. Yeah. And I will give him that. It is very difficult for an artist to stay at the top for that long. And then now he comes out with Honestly Nevermind, which is primarily a house and Jersey club, Baltimore club album. And fuck, his fan base was all like, nah, this is whack. Why would you do this? Da-da-da, this and that. Me, and Eddie, you made fun of me for this shit, but but it's the truth, dude. I hadn't fucked with Drake since So Far Gone, dude. And only because So Far Gone to me was something new at the time, and it was just like, fuck, this is dope. But then, in my opinion, he kept that same formula over and over and over and over. That's just my opinion. So when he came out with this shit, now mind you, I there is a bias. I'm very much into just dance music. I don't listen to anything outside of dance music. Yeah. Like, you would have to be a big artist like J. Cole or Kendrick for me to step out of dance music. But for Drake to do that, and it's like, damn, I respect that. I actually fuck with you now because of that. Because you're showing people that you can be diverse and you can step out of your comfort zone. And that's what I think it is important for artists to do. Because, I mean, yeah, like you said, you also don't want to pigeonhole yourself and shit. And that's what I feel like Drake did for like the longest.
He could have easily just made an album just fucking straight up fucking like bangers like we're used to hearing from him, but he didn't.
He kind of did that with what's the one he came out with? CLB, right? CLB, from what a lot of people have told me, it felt like he had them shits in the hard drive for a long time now, and he was just like, fuck it, y'all want an album, here's whatever.
It almost felt like leftovers of that. If you're reading this, it's too late.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
which that whole thing was all bangers.
It was, but you know, I don't know, but
I feel like he did a good job at that, just like throwing songs out there that kind of had in the vault. Was Bad Bunny 2 con Las Que No Iban a Salir.
Oh, yeah.
But those are some really good songs on there, bro. Some of those songs are so underrated.
That was a flex, low-key.
Bro, like, that really was a flex, because he's just like, yeah,
these some throwaways.
Yeah, these are the throwaways. And it was like collabs with Nicky Jam and Yandel, and those songs are so fucking... That album is so underrated.
Radio hits, pretty much.
Bro, those songs are so underrated. And what I love about him, too, is that he's always thinking about the next one. Like, Calladita was for this album, and that shit came out how long ago?
Oh, I know. That was just a single, right? At first? Fuck. Damn. That's back when that fool had the fucking short hair. That's so long ago. That's why I, like, think of waves of Bad Bunny. Kind of like same, like, with Drake. You know, certain fucking hairstyles. I hope he's not still fucking with that weird-ass fucking hairstyle he had recently, Drake.
I don't know.
Where he had the... You remember what I'm talking about? Where it's like the shit like combed back almost?
Someone said on Twitter that he went from champagne poppy to malt liquor poppy with that fucking with that hairstyle, yo. Oh my god. Because he looked fucking nuts. He was like at a craps table and all this shit. He was like at a casino playing craps, and then you got to look that shit up. That shit is hilarious, and it's just like, what the fuck?
You know how like some people look like when they put a fucking hairnet, but they have like really curly hair, and like it's all tight. That's what it looked like, right? It was so bad.
Yeah, that shit
You know,
was
he looked like
hilarious.
fucking Popeye from fucking Blood and Blood Out.
Oh, I see. Oh my god.
Oh, it was bad.
The man is listen, man. Drake is just bored, dude. He is fucking bored.
He's got fuck you money, you know?
When you have fuck you money, you have to like I don't know. You have to find things to do. You have to. I don't know, man.
Bro, after this tour, fucking Bad Bunny got hella fuck you money. The numbers he did on them tours, oh my god, that motherfucker's rich.
I was looking at him like, damn, if he did another LA date, he would have hit the million ticket mark, probably.
His tour for SoFi is number 2 and number 3, like most grossing tour or like show, and then Chicago is 6. And I know I contributed to that because, bro, I went to the bar, bought merch. I was like, here, just take my money.
You know, I was watching this video from, who was it? I think it may have been like Academics or something. But apparently, his deal, like his contract, like for his, his music,
he actually gets the money.
It's like over 90%.
Yeah,
so
actually
his deal's
gets a lot of his money.
3 times better than Drake's. Mm-hmm. And you know how ridiculous that is for somebody big, bro?
That's what I'm saying. He has hella fuck you money because he actually gets that money.
And that's fucking great that he's not in a 360 deal or any of that bullshit
because he originally did have managers and he was part of a label that kind of like would fuck him over. I don't know if I'm gonna get the door. That would kind of fuck him over, but he did leave it.
Yeah. I saw who else is on part of the management. He's part of now. Eladio's on it. I think a couple other people that are like pretty well known in that scene. And yeah, I was watching that video, and then Bree just happened like to come over, and she heard that. She was like, "What the fuck? Like 3 times better? It's ridiculous."
I know, that's just fucking wild. I'm like, I have such a. It kind of reminds me of Zendaya too, because they're smart enough to early on be like, this is what I want and this is how we're gonna do it, and that's that. Because Zendaya, when she became a Disney star, her and her mom pretty much laid out like certain standards that they wanted in her contracts, and they were like, I want to be able to do what I want. I want to be able to have like more of freedom, because you know how like Disney stars back then, especially back then, like they're like, no, you have to be like this. You have to only do these Disney projects. You can only do this. They were very like, you were very much under a microscope and like very like
and they want everything
managed. Yeah, very much in-house. Zendaya was like, nah, if you want me to continue to be like on these seasons of these last like whatever shows that she had at the time, like I want to be able to have like some kind of freedom to do other projects. And she knew that she was bringing the money, so they were like, all right.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is the last time I think that probably happened was the dude, well, he was a kid then, that did the voice for Simba.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you remember the older brother in that show, Smart Guy? He was also in ATL. I don't know if you've ever seen ATL.
Oh, yeah.
But his mom was fucking smart. So he's like, yeah, so we want a piece of... Because Disney didn't realize how fucking big their animated movies were going to be. So it's like, we want a piece of pretty much the merch.
Oh,
like,
really?
And soundtrack.
I didn't know that.
Everything. So to this day, he still gets paid. So
That's
I think that's why all like the controlling like contracts from Disney came about, was because of him.
Yeah, and Zendaya was smart. She was just like, I know I'm going to rack you guys in money. I'm actually doing well, prospering, thriving. I have all these opportunities. Y'all gotta let me have a very lenient contract, or I'm be like, peace out, I'm out. And that's why she still has like a pretty decent relationship with them.
They came to a bit of a compromise then. But I don't know how that relationship would be now, especially after Euphoria, because that shit is wild. Then again, she doesn't actually get nude.
Yeah, no, and even for that contract, she was just like, I'm not doing nudity.
Yeah.
She's like this, and that's the one cool thing, especially even with Bad Bunny. Once you've reached a certain level, you can ask for whatever the fuck you want, like, and they're gonna give it to you because they know no matter what, even if they get a smaller percentage, they're still gonna make a lot of money.
Cool. Just wait until Aldo asks for his fucking 10%.
No, that's not happening.
No, he wants 10% of your sandwich. That's it.
10% just the pickle, and some island dressing and shit.
Bro, this shit's so funny because I forgot what Ernie and I were talking about one time when it came to Bad Bunny, and that fool was just like, bro, yeah, that fool makes all kinds of money. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, he can ask for whatever the fuck he wants. And it's true.
I still haven't seen movie that he had a little role in.
That was a really good movie. His acting, I will say, is mid. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was funny.
It was a scam from the jump, bro. But
we all knew though.
They had Bad Bunny in there for like 10 minutes.
I like
that's a lot longer than some celebrities.
Come watch this movie with Bad Bunny. He's the hottest person out right now. Y'all come in
I
and
enjoyed the
get
movie as
duped
a
in.
whole, like Tangerine and Lemon. Oh, my favorite parts of the movie. Not even Bad Bunny. Tangerine and Lemon in that movie, amazing. Loved them. They were so fucking funny. I like movies that have like that too. But like the comedies, like, and it's not so like on the nose. It's like very sarcastic, like that type of humor, or like with really good banter. And like those two characters, they had really good banter, and that's why I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's just crazy. Good movie. But
it makes sense why you like shows like The Office and Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, dude, I like. Dude, Abbott Elementary. Oh my god, you need to watch the newer episodes.
I
it just
finally
gets
put
better.
Bree onto it, but there was that fucking one episode where the dude that fucking plays Chris Rock. So he's like, I was born this way, and then the other dude's like, you don't get to bring Lady Gaga into this.
Have you seen that theory of people on TikTok? They're saying that the guy who plays
was that Jacob?
No.
Or the Chris?
No. Yeah, Chris. That he might be like slightly autistic because of the way that he acts.
I could see that.
Like in real life or in the show?
No, like in the show.
Oh.
And that they believe that later on they're going to kind of build to it and then like later reveal that he's like slightly autistic, but it's not a big deal.
I love how he still makes those fucking faces like he did on everybody's
Yes,
Chris.
oh my god.
He just looks at the camera like...
It was just like...
Yo, I hated his ass in The Walking Dead, yo.
I never got that far.
Spoiler alert, but it was great seeing him die.
What was that?
Spoiler alert, but it was great seeing him die.
I never got that far.
He dies, right?
I couldn't be invested in his character.
His character, just, I'll go ahead and tell you, Lynn, just because probably it'll take you a while for you to watch.
Everyone ends up pretty much dying.
I already know that.
But they made his character such a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Like, even worse than the pastor.
Oh, yeah,
because the pastor the pastor was another fucking punk bitch.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you guys ever play or heard of that video game, The Last of Us?
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the show to come out.
Oh, yeah, they do have a fucking show.
It's coming out next year.
Who had a movie? Was it Uncharted that had a movie?
Yeah, it was with Tom.
Fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, I gotta watch it. I heard it was good.
I haven't seen it. I'd watch it because the thing about the game, I never played the game, but I always heard great things from people playing the game. So, and I'll be honest though, I am kind of jaded because I never know if a game translated into movie will ever be good. For instance, come on, man, Super Mario Bros. Like the '90s one was terrible. All the Resident Evil movies are okay to watch, but they're all terrible. Tomb Raider, if it wasn't for Angelina Jolie, would be fucking terrible. Like just games going into movies is just like
even The Rock did Doom.
The Rock did. I ain't gonna lie, that one was kind of alright. That one was cool. It was decent, but what's another one? Fucking Need for Speed was fucking dog shit.
I am hopeful with The Last of Us just because it's HBO Max.
And it's a show.
That too, because that's the thing where I feel like when you put it into a movie, you have to cut out a lot. Unless you're like for sure planning on like sequels and shit. Mm-hmm. But I feel like making it a TV show makes sense.
Mortal Kombat. So that's one that... But continue, sorry.
Yeah, that one was cool.
No. That was cool. I had fun watching it together.
But that's like one of those ones like you're saying, like, they're planning for a fucking sequel.
Exactly.
So they didn't bring in everything,
I feel like even with like Harry Potter, I feel like it would have done... I mean, okay, maybe not in that time period, because then the CGI really would have been shitty. Because even back then, I was just like, But like, I feel like eventually, in a couple, like maybe 10 years, 20 years from now, when, I understand canceling J.K. Rowling, but I kind of still hope for like a TV series. Because there's so much in the books that they leave out that I feel like are just, make it what it is, man. Like even Dobby, like when they kill him in the last movie, or technically the 7th movie.
Spoiler. No, I'm just playing.
Bro, if y'all haven't seen it by now. I actually know there are people who are watching it for the first time. Like, there's this guy on TikTok who's watching the movies for the first time. And he's like, he has like note, like it's kind of like the notes app. He has it like as a green screen in the background, and he's just like going off on these little things. It's so funny watching TikToks, or I even listened to this one podcast of a guy who was reading the books for the first time, but people watching the movies for the first time, like now, like as adults, it's so funny to me.
Oh God.
But yeah, I would like it as a TV series. I feel like it would be great as a TV series.
That would be, yeah.
And it has to be on HBO Max.
Yeah, HBO knocks it out of the park, yo. They're
Bro, the House of Dragons. I'm so invested.
There's so many good shows. Like we could name a whole list of shit. Just it'll be damn near nonstop. Fucking Sopranos, fucking still holds up. The Wire still holds up. And these are all old shows.
Okay, Eddie, I got one for you. The Wire or Snowfall?
Snowfall, because I feel like I could relate to it more. In terms of the area.
Yeah.
I never sold drugs. I'm just saying
Nah,
the area
dude,
and the music too that they use. I fucking love the music.
What about this fool?
Oh man, I had a long conversation about this fool with Alec. We were talking about we all know a fool like that.
Yeah.
I
Did
love that
Ernie
shit.
ever watch it?
I don't know.
That fool needs to watch it, because that shit's like if you and Ernie wrote a TV show.
Oh, the therapy episode was fucking great.
The projection. Oh my God. Dude, I was dying so hard when
I
he was...
told you were gonna love that episode.
Bro, oh my God. Because, bro, so like I said, when fucking Eddie and I got close, we would talk about a lot of, like, deep-ass conversations. And I swear to God, when I started telling him about, like, how he projects himself and it manifests itself in other ways, he started using the word projection against me. So he'd be like, Lynn, you're projecting. I'm like, boy, if you don't shut the fuck up. And
But I wasn't wrong.
I mean, in some ways he wasn't wrong. In other ways he was just trying to be stupid. And so, like, the therapy episode, like, it, like, spoilers and shit, but, like, the way he kept, what was he talking? Oh, trauma.
Oh, yeah.
Trauma. It was the word trauma. He kept saying how...
Because he bullied him.
Yeah.
That's why he acts like that to his cousin.
And I forgot what he was talking about, like food or something. He was just like, oh, maybe it's your trauma that you eat that way or something like that.
Oh, because he eats so fast, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
And so,
you would take away his food, right?
He's like, oh, maybe it's your trauma in that way. I forgot. But, like, and then when he reveals that he's never done therapy, but he's, like, hosting group therapy.
That, and he's always, like, encouraging everybody to fucking do therapy. It's like, don't be that guy,
Yeah.
you know?
This fool was so funny. That one's a really, and I understand because, like, I had talked about it with my cousin, like one of my older cousins, and she was just like, yeah, I watched it to support the community, but I feel like it's kind of like just such another, the same old rhetoric that, like, you know, like that Latinos are all like gangbangers and like cholos and all that shit, and I'm like, okay, yes.
I feel like there was a spectrum of.
I was gonna say, but it's like, it's on. Yes, it's a show about Latinos who, you know, were in that life, but it's like them in recovery-ish.
Yeah, it shows that they don't have to just be that.
Yeah. It wasn't just that. Like, you had that episode where it's like the cousin, like, with his relationship, like toxic relationship, where like they're trying to fix shit, and that, but then you end up seeing that he's the one who's also like fucked up too, and it's like, even though she was crazy because so many people use that toxica narrative, but you saw how, like,
what drives someone to be that.
Exactly. And I feel like that's another perspective, because like so many people use that toxica like label, and it's very,
never
like,
one-sided.
yeah, and it's always just like, oh, she just likes to eat hot Cheetos, and she's just like mad, and like, oh,
Cheetos.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
But I feel like it gave another side to it. Like, bro, she was over here fucking planning a picnic and going hiking and shit.
All those fucking pictures they took were hilarious.
Bro, when he had the fucking milk, oh my god.
Oh
when he was just like, did it have dairy in it?
Oh no, I forgot about that.
Oh my god. See, I feel like it was another take on it was good comedy. It was funny.
Real kind of people like this, like,
Yeah.
yes, there was some cholos, but fucking if you live in, you know, Southern California in general, you're gonna run into all these kind of people. Like the people that listen like to fucking Morrissey, the people that are like fucking rockabilly.
Bro, that ass. And that's what I even said. I was just like, bro, I feel like it was still relatable because I have people in my life who are like this, but also like they know people like this as well.
Oh man, I love that show. I can't wait for it to come back.
Me too. I'm so happy. Did it get renewed for a second season?
I don't think they've confirmed it, but I know it's gonna get another.
Yeah,
film.
that one was really good.
The support was great. Oh, I loved it.
I was so happy when Zemex finally watched it.
Oh, he's like, oh my god.
I know. He's like, now I see why everyone's telling me to. You know what else was really good? Mo. I finished it.
Oh,
I was so upset because I wanted more.
Tell me, it doesn't remind you of fucking
episodes.
Zemex's brother.
Dude, deadass. Oh my god. I was like, oh my god, Edgar.
It is Edgar.
But I loved it. But he said it's like based on his life, like for the most part. I'm like, how close to your life is this? Like, did you really get to fucking go all the way to Mexico for some fucking olive trees?
I think that was just the more like drama part.
I know, but I was like, god damn. Oh my god, I need more. That one was really, really good. And then afterwards we watched his comedy special.
He's funny.
He's funny.
Like, I had seen the name like so many times, but I'm like, I'd never really heard of him, you know?
It's a good example that different cultures and different ethnicities aren't that far from each other. Because, like, he's Arab? I'm wrong.
Palestinian.
Palestinian. He's Palestinian, but like he knows Spanish. He has
fucking great Spanish.
Really
too.
good Spanish. Really not mid Spanish. He's actually really good.
Like Mexican Spanish.
Yeah, that ass. And like, you know, he dated a Mexican girl, and like
she was funny.
She was fucking. I liked her.
She's great.
Bro, the fucking when she had to go ask she went to go ask the other chick for money, and then like the girl was like, I'm Indian, like I'm a person of color too. And then when they leave all mad, like I forgot what he said. He's just like, the last time you were Indian was like so long. Oh fuck, it was so much funnier than shit. I forgot what he said.
Oh, it's funny because we've all met people like that before.
Yeah, who
like
are
the Niña Fresa type of fucking girls. The worst.
Yeah, and
We
I
don't
get
like
it, but
you.
it was funny. But like I said, it shows that, you know, just because, you know, we're different doesn't mean that we're that different. We're not that far off from each other.
The experience is very universal.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what color you are, what country you come from.
And that's why, like, it's very hard for me sometimes to, like, relate to white people, because it's like, you will never understand. It's very easier for me to relate to someone else who's of color than a white person.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's a good show, too. So many good shows.
Yeah, that's also why I really like you, because we'd be putting each other on to different shows.
I know. It's so funny because I only saw that show promoted once.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one day, and then never saw it on there again.
I had seen it, like, on my suggested for Netflix, but I didn't pay much attention to it until you told me to watch it.
Yeah, I knew as soon as I watched, like, I think it was like the first episode, I'm like, you gotta watch this shit.
I know, I watched it with Homeboy, and we were so invested.
Oh,
And
so
then
good.
even this full, too, we finished it in, like, that same day.
Oh yeah, it took me a couple of days, just because there were so many other things I was already watching.
Oh, I hate that. Right now, I'm just, like, I'm very excited for Sunday so I can see the new episode of House of Dragons.
Yeah, I still have yet to dive into that. I don't know if I really want to.
It's interesting.
I am.
It took me, I couldn't even, like, when Games of Thrones was, like, really, really big, I never even got into it until, like, the last season was about to come out.
Yeah, because if it's something that I feel like there's so much information to take in, it's just, I really need to fucking just sit down and watch. I can't be doing other shit.
I will say, though, you don't really have to watch Game of Thrones to watch House of Dragons.
No, that I know.
Because it's a prequel.
Because it's, like, way before.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, those kind of shows where, like, even, like...
There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, kind of like watching, like, a Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You're like, this only makes sense because of this fucking situation here.
That's true.
Like, sometimes I just don't have that kind of attention span or something like that. Especially because whenever I have something, like, on the TV, I'm always, like, fucking
doing other
something.
shit? Yeah, I get that.
So, like, I want to give something, like, its proper fucking, you know, attention it deserves.
That's true. Like, when we watch House of Dragons, it's usually, like, I'm not doing anything else. Or we had just cooked dinner, so we're just going to, like, watch it while we're eating. It's, like, not much else going on. But if I'm just, like, kind of chilling, I just want something on. Lately, what I've been on is, like, rewatching The Nanny.
Oh.
And I think it's really funny how, like, fashion has come back around. How, like, so many people, a lot of the shit that they're wearing now is exactly what the fuck she wore. But it's just, like, fast fashion now.
Wait, have you talked about Dahmer yet?
I haven't. You know, I actually haven't finished it.
It's very well done.
I've heard that, and I know
I was
that.
talking with Eric about it yesterday.
It is pretty well done. It's kind of a lot.
It is. Mentally, it is a lot. Because there's a lot of points in it where, like, you just get so frustrated because the system just fails so many people.
And I understand the whole debate about it, because it's like, why bring it back up again? Because it just re-triggers, like, the victims and their families. But at the same time, like, it also really highlights, especially in this time, that there's so much that the cops fail at.
That's exactly what it was highlighting a lot of, too. I think that's the big thing, too, that happened with, do you remember that series they had, too? Was it Central Park 5? About those kids that were blamed for rape in Central Park?
And I get it, because sometimes it's good to re-highlight those things, because it reminds people that you need to keep certain people in check, because then if not, history's just going to repeat itself.
Yeah, and then it's funny, because there's a part in there that they show where fucking Donald Trump fucking funded a whole, like, big, huge article to be on, like, the New York Times that just, like, shitted on those kids, and nothing was actually fucking proven.
You know what's really funny?
And he never retracted it either.
And you know what's really funny is that feels like so long ago, but Trump was really not that long ago either.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Like, if you think about it, history and time in general is such an odd thing, because I remember someone was like, history is still new. Like, if you think about it, history is still technically new. Like, a lot of the things that have gone on, especially, like, in this country, it's not that far. It feels like that long ago, but it's not.
Yeah, like, fucking, what's it called? Like, civil rights, for example. Like, our, like, grandparents were adults when that, like, they're already adults when that, you know, happened. Like, 1965 is not that fucking long ago, you know?
It's really not.
Like, fuck, like, when I think about that, that's what, fucking about 8 years before my dad was born. So it's kind of scary when you put it into that perspective. Slavery was not that long ago. That's why when I hear somebody like Joe Rogan, he's like, yeah, it was only fucking 2 million years ago.
No.
When he's talking about like civilization and shit like that.
Yeah, but
which really isn't that long ago. When you kind of...
what Rogan has said in one of his specials was like, yeah, man, these motherfuckers wrote the Declaration of Independence with a feather and ink. That was like 3 people ago. And that's what makes it fucking it's hilarious, but it's also truthful.
Yeah, like,
but that's
in hindsight, you're like, fuck, dude. Like,
but that's why I love fucking comedy, bro, because like comedy is supposed to just
push you think sometimes.
What was that?
Have you think sometimes.
Yeah.
Also make you laugh.
Yeah, while making you laugh. Yeah.
That's why I like Chappelle so fucking much.
Oh man, Chappelle's probably like one of the...
He's a great storyteller and one to kind of make you think of certain perspectives.
And then not for nothing, but Chappelle's a good example of someone who literally walks in the room, slaps his dick on the table, and drags his nuts around. Because what happened with him was, you know, he was riding a wave with the Chappelle Show, and Comedy Central were trying to fuck him.
Yeah.
And then instead of renewing, he said, "Fuck it, I'm out." He dips, and then while he dips, this narrative of like, yeah, Dave Chappelle's a crackhead, he's stupid, he's senile, this, that, and the third. And then years later, you find out, no, dude, they were trying to trap him in a fucked up deal. And they were going to try to like pay him way below his worth. And now he came back and
have more control, too.
Exactly. So, you know, but yeah, man, I that's why I love comedy, man. It's just fucking, it's... Plus, I'm kind of a nut, dude. So like, I just laugh at a bunch of shit, dude. I know I shouldn't, but I mean, whatever.
I love fucked up comedy. Sometimes. Yeah. Like, there was that one joke I told you. The seasoning one.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know, I don't know if that's like perfect for this.
I don't know.
It was more of a dig on white people.
This is true. So you probably could say
I said, like, his ass wouldn't have gotten caught if he wasn't so fucking white and didn't use seasoning. Like, if he used some seasoning, it probably wouldn't have smelled so fucking bad.
That shit's so crazy to me, too. Like, people really were living in that same apartment. That's
those poor people.
I'd like to say a quick fuck you to that club in Florida. There's a club in Florida that, man, I ain't gonna lie. I kind of just want to... sometimes I genuinely just want to, you know, be inside of someone's mind and their thought process just to see how twisted they are, because a club in Florida was promoting a Halloween themed event based on Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh no.
No, but like in general, weird to me how so many people are fetishizing. That how you say it? I don't know, but Dahmer in general right now, or like, I don't know.
There's always those weird girls that are really into fucking like serial killers.
Yeah.
Like, are you just doing that just to be different, or like? Or
I just feel like it, and this is something we've mentioned in the previous podcast, but I just feel like a lot of us, some way, somehow, we still manage to remove the human in us and tap back into our primal instincts. Because you got to keep in mind, dude, like, you know, primally, dude, we were some fucking savages, dude. I mean, we still are savages, but like a little bit more humane. But back then, dude, like, for instance, dude, you had fucking, I mean, obviously, I don't know if we mentioned on this one, but like the queen in the royal family. Dog, that was like a few hundred years ago where
they were talking about that before we started recording.
Where the motherfucker was, you know, you can't bear me a son, off with your head type shit. And that was real. And that only happened like, what, 200-300 years ago? That's not that long ago. So, I mind you, this is a theory, it's not for certain, but I just feel like people sometimes tap into this old primal instinct. So when certain women see how like crazy a guy can get, it's something in them that's like, ooh, like there's danger in the room. Like I like that, and I don't know, but maybe it's a little bit of psychoness or whatever. I don't fucking know, but that's all I could really come up with, like why people would be attracted to shit like that. That's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, so
it's crazy though, right? It's crazy because not for nothing, but and this is something Pearl was telling me, but like when they were questioning Dahmer, I guess he was saying like, oh no, I was very much aware of all the shit that I was doing. And
yeah, they were trying to have him.
I didn't.
Insanity.
Yeah, I was not insane. I knew what the fuck I was doing. No, my parents and my upbringing was not a factor. So I'm like, damn, this motherfucker was just a nut off the bat, dude. Like he had no chance. And I'm not feeling sorry for him. Like fuck.
Like
that
he literally
guy.
just became fascinated more and more with like, you know, the human body and like also just like, and they even said like having sex while like it bothered him that they would move so much. Like when you're fucking someone, it was like, no, I just want you to be still. Like it would genuinely bother him, like them moving and shit. And that's why he started fucking like people that were dead. Did you know what I found out recently that kind of ruined penguins for me? That they're into that shit, like fucking dead penguins.
Well then, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I was like,
why do you gotta fuck it up for us now?
no, because if it ruined it for me, it's gotta be ruined for everyone.
Yeah,
now.
that's like the same thing. Oh, when you're on Twitter, if
I
I saw it,
it,
everyone has to see.
Exactly.
Dog, the audacity of one of my friends.
What is that called again?
Necrophilia?
There you go.
Necrophilia, yeah.
Shout out Necro.
Dog, like the audacity of one of my friends. So one of my friends texted me some shit from Twitter. He texted to me on my personal phone. He
That's
didn't like.
up.
He screenshot. He was like, "Oh, if I had to see, you had to see." I'm like, "Fam, I'm not on Twitter though."
Bro, I have a chat with like Teresa and Dee and Nancy, and we'd be doing that shit too. Teresa will sometimes send. She's like, "If I had to see you, you guys had to." And I'm like, "Man."
At least send in invisible ink, you know.
I
At
know.
least that way, if curiosity really hits you, you know. Oh, fuck. That's so damn. That's dark. I did not expect that from penguins. They're so.
I know, isn't that crazy?
I always see nice shit about penguins. And
About how
shit.
like they mate for life and like all this shit. They literally be mating even like afterlife.
Why do you have to put it in that perspective now?
Ain't that crazy?
Jesus Christ! No wonder
Not
they're
weird.
fucking monogamous now.
Damn, they're really about it.
Jesus Christ! No, that's commitment. Oh, God, no. That was fucked
But
up.
anyways, on a lighter note, to bring it back around, you guys just put out a new mix that was really, really good, and I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love those, and thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, those 2-hour plus long mixes are.
That's just you having fun too.
Yeah, like it's usually just like the shit that I've really been liking, like listening to and just been playing out, and people seem to really like those mixes. So I was like, yeah, why not just keep doing them?
So of course I'm gonna link everything, like your guys' stuff, your stuff, and the mix and everything. Cause honestly, it's really good. If I like to listen to those also, like when I'm doing like cardio or something on a long walk or like at work and shit.
It's a great gym mix.
So I'll definitely link it for everybody. And I feel like this is probably one of the longer pods, but it was fun.
It's like when and like Joe Rogan's on like somebody else's podcast, it's always like a way fucking longer podcast.
It's because Joe really doesn't have anything else to. I mean, he doesn't. He really has to give more praise to Jamie. I mean, I know he does, but he doesn't say it like, while he's on the pod. But
Yeah.
Jamie really does holds down the fort because, like, yeah, Joe's able to do these long format podcasts on his end. But yeah, definitely when he's on other people's podcasts, like he just spits around like a gun range, dude. It's like
I think he did like
hours.
a 5-hour podcast with Andrew
He
Schultz on his shit.
With Schultz, he did one for like about
Schultz
2.5, close to 3 hours with him, and he was it was so funny. He was grilling him. He was grilling Schultz because you know how Schultz's new setup is like. It's set up kind of like a Tonight Show kind of a thing.
With the 2 couches.
And then Rogan was all like, "Gentlemen, you guys have over sophisticated the podcast game." Because like Rogan's, Rogan, he's a little old school with it. He just simple, few cameras here and there, and just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely when he's on other people's podcasts, it's on his long format. But I mean, I don't know. I like long format podcasts. Like
Next time we're doing a 5-hour podcast.
I don't know. I'm gonna need like 2 coffees. I'm gonna need 2 Leavis coffees.
A bathroom break.
Yeah. All right, that's also why I gotta end it. I gotta pee.
This is why I peed beforehand.
Bro, this honestly it always happens. Usually, like once I end it, it's like, oh no, I gotta pee now. Just FYI.
And we gotta eat.
That too. I'm fucking hungry, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But again, thank you for coming on here. This is pretty fun. It is why, like, for when it comes to like guest stuff, I try not to plan it ahead. But also you specifically, I knew I really didn't have to, because you and I always just end up chopping it up for a while.
Yeah, I don't think we could even stick to like a list of shit.
Yeah, no. That's why I was just like, music, mix, what else y'all got going on coming up?
And what have you been watching?
Oh, yeah. But that's, like, easy for us. But, one thing I will say, I'm very excited for the stuff you guys have coming up. Obviously, like, can't really put it out there yet, but I'm very excited for you guys. I know you guys are going to continue to do great things.
I think, what do we have? And then I was like, oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, that's why we can't really talk about it yet. But I'm very excited for you guys, and I know you guys are always going to continue to prosper.
Mm-hmm.
I think eventually we'll have Ernie on here. I definitely want to have you, Ernie, and like Decimore on here, and like remember when we talked about like concepts and stuff for that too? Like that'll be fun for sure. God, shout out Marty, bro. I love that
That'll be the food episode right there.
Bro, I fucking love Marty.
You gotta give me some time, Lynn. I gotta save money for that couch.
That will come later. But I fucking love Marty. That feels fucking funny.
He was great. That fool was saying some, because we all carpooled yesterday.
Oh really?
Me, him, and fucking Don Dirty, and I was like, these motherfuckers are some of the most hilarious motherfuckers.
Dude, they're so funny. They're really great. Honestly, I love them. And I really love Marty's girl, Denise.
Oh, she's cool.
She's super sweet, bro. And I'm really happy that she just started her little desserts.
Baking?
Yeah, little desserts business. Good for her. She's great. Actually, Brie and I might see her on Sunday because she saw the thing that we're going to, and she said she might pull up. So.
Oh, sick.
I gave her my number. We'll see what's up.
That'd be nice.
But yeah, I definitely gotta aim for something else later on down the road. I definitely have to get Ernie on here too. That feels fucking funny without even trying.
Because you just need to just let him just fucking talk.
It's funny though because he used to be so to himself, or like he would only chop it up with like just who he's close with. We talked about that recently. He's just like, yeah, I feel like now just because I'm older, I'm more comfortable like with myself, so it's easier for me to talk. And I'm like, I want to be like you when I grow up.
Oh god. Yeah, I still think about like the podcast that we all did together, and like Ernie was very comfortable in that, and it's so funny because he usually isn't that comfortable that quickly.
Especially even back then. I feel like even now he's just.
And then first time meeting Aldo too. He fell in love with you very quickly.
Nah, I have to thank you guys so much for that one. You guys were the first artists on that podcast, and yeah, man, and we've hit it off since, man. I thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for that one.
This one was a good one. Well, thank you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna link everything, all that, and I hope that mix gets a lot more plays because that shit's fire. All right, bye guys.
Peace.
That was Edxvicious and Lynn Lopez, ladies and gentlemen. Out.
I gotta pee. My back's